for those of you that live under a rock.
I was going to say, you living under a rock?
The whole stuff with Russia invading Ukraine, it's crazy stuff. I mean, we've been watching the news all day. Drew and I have been hanging out for a couple hours now, and that's pretty much what we've been watching. But we kind of been trying to figure out a way how to twist it and turn it and to tie it into sports. And it actually ties in pretty well into what we were trying to talk about today anyways, right?
Yeah,
and that's the Champions League and the Europa League.
Yep.
So obviously Russia still has some teams that are in the Champions League.
They're in Europa League.
In the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got for us there? Like, what do you know so far?
Well, I already forgot.
I know you were looking it up earlier.
Spartak Moscow just moved on to the round of 16 in the Europa League. Yeah. And as we know, Moscow is the capital of Russia.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see kind of like where they go from here. I know that UEFA has already put out a statement that they condemn all the actions that's going on over there in Russia and the Ukraine. And I believe Zenit's still in it too. But basically, the Champions League, first thing that they did was they canceled the final that was supposed to be in St. Petersburg. Like, nah, we're not going to have that.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Our biggest cup final in all of Europe take place in Russia this year. So they really haven't picked a new location. They're in the process of looking for that right now. And then the next thing kind of goes away from Champions League and more into the international stage. World Cup qualifier, Poland was supposed to play in Russia, and they've already said that game is not going to happen in Russia. And there are even talks, some rumors going around to potentially punish Russia into the World Cup. Maybe not letting them go if shit continues. And
well, obviously,
you can't blame FIFA for putting their foot down like that. So that's kind of interesting, and I think if they are going to play that game, it's not going to be in Russia. I think they said that it'd be in Poland for obvious reasons. But I mean, that game is set up for a month from now. I think it's actually March 23rd, so a month from yesterday. In a month, Russia could potentially be at the front lines of Poland.
Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting. Like it does have an effect on sports, and I think that's why we can talk about it. Is right now you're getting into the heat of this competition in Champions League and Europa League, and there's a war breaking out, and it's shitty. Like, the only reason why we're kind of talking about it is because it ties into sports a little bit. But I mean, there's things bigger than sports. The safety and livelihood of all the Ukrainians, like, I mean, it sucks, man, everything that's going on, and so it's just all around shitty.
It really is a bummer, because I know that this is this is a sports podcast. I mean, we normally just kind of bullshit. We talk about sports, and we're not diplomats, we're not scholars, we're just a bunch of bums with a couple microphones and a camera.
We spent the money, so we feel obligated to give our opinion.
I filmed the podcast with my brother yesterday, and he calls it the Ghetto Productions or what.
Hey, but he was on it. That's all.
But he was on it. No, he was on it, and it was fun. We had a lot of fun yesterday, but yeah, I mean, going back to what happened today, I mean, it kind of does. It kind of, I guess you can say, kind of does put things into perspective a little bit. Just thinking, it's just like crazy to think of how privileged we are to be able to do something like this, and then just talk about sports and just talk about athletics and a game. And obviously today we were going to lean pretty heavy on the Champions League and the Europa League. I mean, the NFL's done. We were going to go touch up on some other stuff. But I mean, we couldn't ignore what happened today, because, like you said, there is a direct correlation with sports and with the games. I mean, just all the stuff that you just said just now was just it's already had a ripple effect.
It's been 48 hours maybe, and all this.
Yeah, exactly.
Things change rapidly,
just
man.
Quick.
And you never know, dude. I mean, in a month, you don't know what Putin's going to be up to. I mean, all sports in Europe could be canceled. All functions could be canceled. You know, you just don't know. This is something that I never thought we'd really see again. The idea of a World War III is kind of, to me, like, far-fetched. It's like each country is so powerful in so many ways. It's almost like a mass genocide, it would seem like, if countries start to go to war. But man, I just hope she gets figured out. 'Cause
Yeah.
no one wants to see this. Like, I have a hard time believing that even Russians, like the citizens, are behind this. Like,
No, yeah,
it's almost
sure.
inhumane. Like the way, like we've evolved as a society so much from the World War II to today, and to see us going back down that same path.
Your microphone is falling. There you go.
Yeah, dude, it does that.
It does that.
To see us going backwards like that, it just sucks, man.
Yeah, it does. I mean, and it almost feels like it kind of. I mean, we've never lived through something like this, like an experience, but I mean, it almost feels like they're turning back the clock a little bit, you know? And it's just, like you said, it's just never in our lifetime do we imagine something like this ever happening to us, to our generation. But it's true. I mean, the boogeyman is out there. There are legitimate threats out there to first world countries. We think we live in the U.S. and we think we're untouchable. Nothing could happen. And a lot of the countries in Europe probably thinking the same thing. We're just like, well, we already went through, such turmoil. Like, we don't think it's going to happen again. Not here. But then it does. And you're just like, oh shit, and I mean, we're still trying to bring it back into sports, and it's just how it have already affected so many games. Especially in the Champions League.